What are you doing, LS? I tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not running around like it was the Wild West, slaughtering defenseless chickens in front of little kids. That's what I'm not doing. Just saying.
Do you want me to beat him?
Hey, Boski. Traumatized. That goat's milk going to be curdled. We've done worse. Trust me. No, she said no. Hey, Minnesota. Denise Stevenson. Guns McPew too. Yes, sir. We got a love stream going on. Everybody say hi to Denise. She's new. Bitty Boo, I think we know her. I think we know Sandra. Nope, Sandra's new. Okay.
You don't have the camera on.
Ah, I should have put the camera on. I would have had witnesses. Ow! That was my fishing arm. I'll remember that forever. Hey, Brian. Shoe. What did I miss? Eric. Drive careful, brother. That hurt. It still hurts, actually. Some people just produce violence nationwide. And they'll get over it. No, he's until Sippy gets out of school, we're just gonna have to live. We're gonna have to fill the holes, the voids with other things. It's just the way it is. I've still got his page open. He still hasn't gone live. Oh man. Was it like 80 up there right now? Y'all got like a warm front come through, didn't y'all? Or was that last week? Oh, it came back. Everybody, tell everybody hold on if you're still in the chat room. Did it ever come back on? Hello, hello, testing. Can anybody hear me? Try refreshing it and see if it comes back or if it's still dead.
I don't know. I don't have the ring anymore. It shows it's playing. I don't know. Carol said she can hear you.
Okay.
Sandra can hear you.
My chat didn't reconnect. Let me refresh the page and see what happens. Time to mine out. I forgot they're doing that. They're playing with their internet, guys. I'm sorry. Am I back? Okay. Who came in while I wasn't looking or couldn't see? Kind of back. Okay. Hello, Carol. Daniel. J A E U F M. I'm just calling you Jay. I don't know why I always try to say the whole thing. So, anyway, this what do you call it? The algorithm may have read the title or the description, and that could be a possibility. Anyway, Dana was telling people in her live stream about the thing and the question about Yah, Y-A-H. Why I was using the word Yah in the chat came up. So, AC 103. So I thought that I would do, because nobody else is live, and is either go live and talk about God or turn on Netflix. And I didn't want to watch Netflix. That's all right, guys. You stay offended. Hey, Dana. Anyhow, I do not intend to, I will never try to discredit the Bible. Can't be discredited. I am fully aware that the guys translating the authorized King James Version, were under a great deal of pressure from King James, and that they had to be careful with the words they used. And most of your modern translations are from the King James, the authorized King James. Even the King James Version is a redo of the authorized King James Version. The New King James Version is just a modernized version of the King James Version. The New International Version is yet again modernized version of the King James Version. Almost all of the translations available out there they have their roots not in the original scriptures or text, but in the King James Version. That being said, the King James Version can get you where you need to be if you study it prayerfully. The King James Version got me to where I am. I do not discount, and again, I will never try to discredit it. For those of you who are new, my credentials are I am a licensed Baptist minister. I have been an ordained pastor for some 15 years, and I've been licensed for the last three. I've never been to seminary, which I'm actually thankful to God for. I don't use good big words, mostly because they just confuse people. And as a general rule, they're the person speaking, when they do jump into the big words, they're actually just trying to make themselves sound smarter than they really are. But that's who's talking to you right now. And oh, I forgot I had the camera off. I don't talk about sin very much in my Bible studies because, well, there's not. Your sin isn't my problem. So that's between you and God. Anyway, I don't think that there's a necessity for using the right translation of the word God to name the Most High, as long as when you pray to or use the word God in reference of the Most High, that you are aware that you are talking about the one true God. Jehovah is a word that represents the Most High. Yah is the literal translation, Hebrew translation of the word God. Yahweh is God. Yeshua is Jesus. Jesua. I can't say that one. I'm not your best Hebrew translator person. But a lot of our language in the faiths, the different denominations revolving around the Bible, the Judeo-Christianity thing. A lot of our translations and languages and some of our culture and stuff like that has its roots in so many different places across the globe. The Chinese, when they read the Bible, they don't say God. Whatever the word God is in Chinese, that's what they say. I don't think you have to say Yah or Yahweh. I choose to. And that's more to slap the enemy in the face than anything else. That's more to let the anti-God, the Antichrist, know that I pray to the Most High. You don't even have to say God. You can say Most High. As long as within your heart you know that you mean the Most High God. God is spirit, and God wants to be worshipped in spirit. He wants to be worshipped. He is truth. And he is spirit, so he wants to be worshipped in spirit and in truth. That is the way that works. We got plenty of more important things to worry about than whether or not we're using the right word for God. But if you come to my Bible studies, be aware that a lot of times when I'm reading the Bible, I will automatically interject the word Yah or Yahweh. That's just the way I do things. Like I say, I'm not a scholar. I can't sit here and give you dates and reasons why this was translated or that was translated. One of these days, I'd really like to do a reading of the now I can't remember what the front part of the book's called whenever the preface of the Authorized King James Version. Thank you, Dana. And Dana, there's more truth in what you said, then you know we live inside of time. I've said this. I'm pretty sure my kids are tired of hearing it. We live inside of time. God doesn't. To God, yesterday and tomorrow are the same. To God, the primordial ooze, if you will, and the absolute contraction of the Big Bang, they're all one and the same. I think it's funny how the churches came out against the Big Bang Theory. They're like, oh, they're trying to say it wasn't creation, that everything just was just from one little spot in the vast void. Everything just burst into existence. Have you not read, Christian? Have you not read Genesis 1:1? In the beginning, God created. That's the Big Bang Theory right there. In the beginning, there was God, and he created everything. Time exists inside of God. The sunrises and the sunsets exist within God. They are a part of God. They do not control God's plan. They exist within God's plan. We were given free will. So that we could worship God as free entities. He made us so much more than some of his other creations. It amazes me. We have oftentimes squandered and abused the privileges that he gave us, in that we don't treat our free will the way we should. He gives us free will. He gives us the option to live our life the way we want to, or live our life the way he told us it's supposed to be lived. And it's really not a hard concept to follow, living the life according to what God said. Let me see if I can look this up real quick. The only thing, the scriptures don't have red letters, so it makes looking things up by reflex a little hard. So y'all bear with me while I flip through this. Well, that's the way God wants to run it. I'm cool with that, Dan. Next time I really hope that he makes me like an emperor or something. Yeah. Or maybe like some rich lady's poodle or something. Na, 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 na. I'm almost there. Bear with me. Here it is. Matthew 22, verse 36 and on. Teacher, which is the great command in the Torah? And Yeshua, Jesus, said to him, you shall love Yah, your Elohim, with all your heart and with all your being and with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commands hang all the Torah and the prophets. It's that simple. All the Torah and the prophets hang on two commandments. You shall love God with all your heart and with all your being and with all your mind. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. How is loving your neighbor the same? Loving your neighbor the same as loving God? Simple. In whose image were we created? How can you hate? This is in the Bible too. How can you hate your brother and have the love of God in you? I do not trust the Islamic faith. I do not want the Islamic faith taking over politics and lawmaking and police forces, and I don't want it taking over the U.S. I don't hate Muslims. I pray that they find the truth, the good news of Jesus, and accept the Most High through his Son. They are the same family. They are just a different branch of the same family that brought us Mary, the mother of God. One child was born to a handmaid, and the other child was born to a wife. God made both of them great and powerful nations. Both groups, up until that one prophet showed up, worshiped the same God. Just FYI. I'm talking the faith. They're one in. If you fully understand the Islamic faith, it produces militants. You can't have this people of the Islamic faith in charge and still have a Christian country. You can't, which we really haven't had a Christian country in a very long time. So, there's that. And it's quite honestly, yes, ma'am. Quite honestly, it is not my place or my right to hate even the militants. I don't have to let them kill me. I don't have to put down my arms and let them shoot me. I don't have to let them burn my city to the ground. I don't have to do any of that. That's not in the Bible. Pacifism is not in the Bible. We're supposed to be loving one to another and to the other deal, but it, Jesus said to get you a sword. Sell your cloak and buy a sword. So it's not exactly pacifism. Well, see, Rachel, it's in the event of a violent upheaval of the current state of governance in our country or the world at large, there's going to be lots of folks I disagree with. like skinheads, man, I cannot stand a Nazi. I'd rather have the Muslims run the country than the Nazis. I would. I can't stand the racists. I think a lot of people need to lighten up, but yeah, they're equally evil. They're equally outside the will of God. Adam and Eve had tans. They weren't whiteys. Adam and Eve didn't have nappy hair. They probably had dark curly hair though. That's another thing that really bothers Pastor Wes is that there's so many people out there trying to make Jesus their race. Jesus wasn't about a race. The Egyptians, when Israel left Egypt, when Moses led them out of Egypt, a butt ton of the Egyptians went with the Hebrews. A lot of them. They denounced their old gods, accepted Yah as their God, as the God, wandered for 40 years, marrying, giving, and taking. They undermingled and stuff. Jew isn't a race. Hebrew isn't a race. They are the people of God. Okay? So don't ever make your religion about race if you want me to be on your side about anything. There was a man that I used to follow on there, and he was teaching me a lot of stuff about the Torah. I'm not Torah observant before everybody started freaking out. I think it's important to understand the Torah though. But he made his entire church about the color of skin. I could no longer follow. It doesn't matter what color your skin is, if your faith revolves around the color of your skin, your faith is wrong. There, I said my piece on that. All right, Dana. More than one Adam and Eve, though, brother. That would make it a little confusing. You know, Christ warns. I hesitate to bring this up. Christ warns about the love of life and the love of our children, our family. He actually warns us about the effects that the love of those dear to us is going to cost us in the tribulation. And in those days, there will be those with child and who give suck. And there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. We will, yeah. When before the great and horrible day of the Lord, when the Antichrist takes over, or the world finally rolls around to a point where nobody, where those who actually follow the one true God are a minority, then everybody. And it doesn't say this is just to the believers. It's going to be everybody. They're going to have to watch their children starve. They're going to have to watch their daughters and sons be ripped out of the home and sold into slavery for whatever reason. They're going to have to watch their loved ones be brutalized and killed in the street just because there's no longer a moral compass. It will be so bad that our very enemies will be those of our own house. We will have children that hate us because we refuse to stop believing. We will have parents that because we choose the will of God over a tradition of man, we will be denounced and forsaken and disowned. It's, it'll get to the point where our own family members will actually be shooting at us because they think we're the sorriest scum on the earth. Oh, how'd that go dark so fast? Anyway, fluffy kittens. But we will get to lay down with wolves, right? Because the lion thing, Mandela changed that, right?
It didn't change anything.
It was the lamb will lay down with the lion. No stinking wolf involved. I say we get over there to Europe, wherever they got that stupid super collider, and we steal the fuses or whatever, so they can make one of them little tiny black holes and keep messing with my world. That's why I miss when we're trying to go someplace. That's why I'm always missing the turn, because they move the road.
Oh,
Every time one of those little holes forms, it moves the road.
Okay.
Telling you, that's the way it works. The Mandela effect stuff is like my favorite, all-time favorite conspiracy theory stuff. I chased that rabbit too many times, though, and I've gone so far down that hole. I am stuck on that Fruit Loops thinking and Bernstein Bear thing. I just can't get over it. And not to mention, there's a house on that road over there. There's a house like 4 miles from my house that's never been there. I'm pretty sure my wife would tell me it's been there. I just never saw it before. How do you not see a 4-bedroom brick house for 12 years? You don't. I went a little dark on the whole end times doomer prophecy thing, so I'm lightening up now.
Have you seen the Two Witnesses movie on YouTube by AOC? It'll make you think.
I haven't seen that yet. I've been thinking about checking out that. I can't think what it's called. I get ads for it all the time. Is it PureFlix or something like that? The Christian TV stuff? But it's the same people that do the Rapture movies, and I don't believe in the Rapture. So it's not nearly as mushy as those roosters. Sorry, she opened the door. I just stepped through. It was none of those little black holes, and they must be running the collider again.
I'm gonna smack you again.
You gotta quit spending so much time around my wife. Come home and there's birds hanging from the trees. What'd they do this time? They crossed the road in front of me, and I had to hit the brakes. It's like, I'm wondering how many times she's actually pointed her finger at the back of my head and made her thumb go down.
Whatever.
No, she's a very loving and tolerant. woman, and I'm very glad and I feel very privileged to have her in my life as my wife. She's probably the best thing that has ever happened to me. She's absolutely the most beautiful person on the planet. You're welcome. Hey, Frank. And she hits really hard too. So, yeah. Anyway, anybody got any questions about anything that I was, except for the really dark stuff? Anybody got any questions? I really don't want to go back there. Was your pot roast good, Dana? Or Bitty Boo? Was it good? Because I messed up the meatloaf somehow. You don't know how I messed it up, but I messed it up. I messed up the meatloaf. I never mess up my meatloaf. I messed up my meatloaf. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as it's supposed to be. It was like restaurant meatloaf. It's like that stuff you get at first. Ah. Who's ready for me to go get eaten? I'm pretty sure it's on my Patreon LS, but you really should check out the for situations like that. Utilize, unless you're my wife, utilize the snake shot. It works really well. It's by wolves. Now, it used to be lion when I was a kid. You're very welcome. I didn't know you did like live chats and it popped up one day. I don't know if have I told everybody in here the shoulder chicken story yet. He messed up.
Yes, you have.
Anyway, she did the bing, 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 and she said I missed him the first 2 times. Then when I was cleaning him, I was like, no, you didn't. He had graze mark on one side of his neck, graze mark on the other side of his neck, and then a hole right through the middle of the back of his neck. You didn't miss, not a one time. So yeah. And then she wins a 9mm. So. Which she said I could take with me, but I don't want to get it dirty, so I'm going to leave it at home. Who's ready to see me get eaten alive by mosquitoes and chiggers and stuff? All right, see him. Me too. And I might even turn the camera on when I get back, just so y'all can see my pretty face. Ow! 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 Did I tell everybody that I worked out and that was a bad idea? I'm not doing that crap anymore. Is she trying to grow these mushrooms, or are they just coming up?
They're just coming up.
honey and a little bit of coffee. Oops. Just put enough honey in this for a whole mug of coffee, and there wasn't a whole mug of coffee. It's going to be too sweet. Ow! Hey, Tina. Oh, what's wrong? Did you eat the Fruit Loops that were spelt funny? So all you new people will know that I'm not scared of my face. I'll turn the camera on. Yeah, he's all jacked up. Oh, I hate falling downstairs. I hate falling upstairs. Your knee wouldn't bend. Does it bend now? Is it bending in the right place? That's important. If it's not bending in the right place, it's an issue. You like my beard like this? My summer beard? Okay. That whole thing right there is a real big lesson in humility for Wes. So what do y'all think about this Mueller report? I knew they weren't going to have nothing. It just annoys me that they don't go ahead and release it now. They won't release it until after everybody starts running for office. Though. And then the stuff that they release will be disproved after the elections get started real good, but it'll be too late. The people done dropped out. Are you and Brian? You mean Brian Shu? I'm gonna have to ask you to re-ask the question. I'm not following it. I'm missing a letter or something. Okay, Chip. You were just out there talking to your horses, weren't you? You should get one of those things they use to charge your phone. I have one somewhere. I use it sometimes. Are you on the road or something again? Are you in? Oh, BA. No, BA was doing classes. I'm hoping he's still going to do classes. He's got to get through all this stuff with his wife's school and stuff. The weather knocked him out in March, right? The park flooded or whatever, and then the finals or whatever hit. So he's got to get through all that. I know that's going on. Yeah, it was like 81 here, Chipper. It was a little breezy though. Wind's still blowing. Huh? It's not as bad. I am going to San Antonio. I'll be leaving either late. I'll be on the San Antonio River. Doing my level best not to die. So. I'm glad he woke up and ain't really bad off. Dun, 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 dun. Come on, y'all gotta give me something to think about. Y'all always talk about cool stuff over here, and I can pick up on what y'all are talking about, and I can just roll on. But y'all are not talking about anything good. Y'all are all watching other stuff. Y'all are all watching like I Love Lucy or something in the background, aren't you? Y'all probably don't even have the volume turned on the chat. Y'all are just like watching Netflix and talking to each other. Yeah, that's a good plan right there. Hey, Lady B. Yeah, the Dana did bring up something though, and when I was over in her live stream about the alligator thing was news to me. I did not know there were alligators. So there will be a little bit more caution this time than last time I was down there. We will be taking quite a long kayak trip, though. Are you painting your sign, Beatty? Woohoo! Well, you said she moved there from Fort Worth, didn't you? That's sort of like Texas. I'm just teasing. It's still part of our country.
These days keep going, you don't put them here, you start back in.
Yeah, it's weird how it goes. I mean, it's cold. Boom, it's hot. I mean, you just gotta love Texas. This is all there's to it. Well, they said they had they haven't had any attacks or anything. They haven't seen any big ones, but they've there's a few slides within a couple of miles of the property. But gators don't like current a whole lot, and they'll stick pretty close to their slides when the river's moving real good. I hope. I hope. And I will be strapped the entire time I'm there, so I wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's a conservative dude or whatever.
Oh.
Now I don't follow all the. Maybe I should, but I got more important things to worry about. I try to keep up with who's doing what, but all I need to know I only need to hear about who's doing what one time. It's like, football. Like you sit down and you watch the football game, right? You see everything. You see all the passes, you see all the pitches, you see all the tackles, you see all the touchdowns, you see all the field goals, you see all that. You see, you watch the game, right? Why would you go to the after show? Why would you sit there for 2 hours after a game was over and listen to some old dudes that don't play anymore talk about what the guy should have done different? Dude, that's that's how I feel about the guys that just go on and on and on about political stuff. I like watching the little snippets, the little informational, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute videos and stuff. But watching a couple hours of people bashing other people, I'm not really all that into that. Because I'm not my husband. Does he listen to Hannity, or does he listen to the? Oh, yeah. And admittedly, I enjoy watching a football game every once in a while. The only problem is I enjoy it. I take it as a break from reality, and I can get a little fired up about it because I only do it every so often. So if I choose to watch football, which is very rare, I don't watch NFL at all until they come out publicly, denounce the people that were kneeling, and tell them, now if you kneel during the national anthem now, you get fired. If they want to protest or whatever, don't show up to the game. Stand out front with the sign saying, I'm not playing today because of this. Okay? There's 101 ways to protest without disrespecting the flag that covered my dad before he went in the ground. Okay? Okay. So, anyway, I don't watch football around my wife because she doesn't like it when I get boisterous. She accuses me of being boisterous at times. And I don't think she even knows what boisterous is.
I have Webster saved in my favorites.
She seems to think that I am a gregarious individual. Though I am not always amiable. There's a couple of big words to look up. So. Because there have been people that have expressed a dislike for this. I'm going to do this. I'll be right back. Somebody called my wife Stoller the other day, or a while back. I thought it was so accurate. My wife's sense of humor can be as dry as rye toast with no butter.
Leave it. The camera area. You should be right back.
Oh, I was just turning the thing on. Do you need me to get up and walk away?
No. I was just curious.
Oh. Hey. You just thought I was getting up and that was all going to be gone and I wasn't going to read it. I'll see how.
I'll shoot you with a rubber band whether you see it or not.
I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to get Yeti for uncovering my bag of giant rubber bands. Those were mine. They're actually for making slingshots. They're really handy. You can take 3 and put on each side of the fork and then put whatever you need in the other end for the cup. And they're reasonably effective at 15 paces. So Huh, they're not up there. I honestly don't know what he did with them. The 2 or 3 he shot at me the other day are behind me, unless he picked them up. Guess you're just gonna have to do that later, like in next life or whatever. Dang it. Oh, found him. No, that's a you hit me with a Nerf bullet. What kind of person shoots their own husband? Foco sneak in here?
Yeah.
Hey Foco, what's up? With 4 chickens in a coat. She can at times be very. That's just the way it is, ish, which is stallard. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually an excellent way to be. To be able to switch into stallard mode is like a lifesaver quite often. I wish I was more practiced at it myself. Oh, I guess you can comment on my deal. I guess it's got this as a second live deal or whatever. Somebody's already commenting on my live stream. There is no telling him, Dempsey. It's gotten a little strange. I don't know, Steve. I was my Blues Brothers years are a little cloudy. Okay. That is a beautiful turquoise sky. Wish I had a piece of jewelry that was that color. Yeah, I was supposed to clean my desk off today. I didn't do it. So, yeah. Fail. I did do dishes and cook supper, though. I like that song. But I was a kid when it came out, and they burned it into your brain on the 3 giant networks.
I was going to say, they probably wanted to buy the world of Coke back then because it still had Coke in it.
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago.
Mellow everybody out.
That's funny though. When my mom was drinking Coca-Cola when she was little, it was still had Coke in it. It is playing in the background, quite honestly. Just FYI, this stream is set to go unlisted when it's over. It's just a random. The first, I don't know what, 15 minutes we covered the topic, and then we just been blah blah blah, and since then, well, I've been blah blah blah, and since then. I'm gonna put another poll thing or whatever on my community section, and I actually would appreciate it if people commented as well as voted. Because I can only put so many options on there before it gets really long and confusing and boring and nobody wants to play. So I want to pick y'all's brain about something. This thing we're doing in San Antonio, it's we're not going to jump out of the truck and run out in the bushes with a tarp, a pocket knife, and roll a bank line and try to conquer the wild. Though with that set up, I could pretty much do it down there. I know pretty much to it. But anyway.
Studying for my technician lessons, Henry. If you run out of topics, tell me what you know about it. Oh, that's short.
That's short. You have to have a license, and you can talk really far. You can talk further with amplitude modulation than you can with frequency modulation, because amplitude modulation bounces off the stratosphere and can come back down. So if you catch the right bounce, you can actually talk from your home to my home. There, you know everything I know. And that's just because my brother's a nerd. I am so bringing home a bunch of onions when I come back. The flavor of those onions down there on that river are so amazing. The bulbs are not hot, but they're definitely onion. And there's chives, onions, and garlic growing all over the place down there. And then there's the rain lily and the crow's poison. So we're actually we got to test everything that we pick. You would have to, I believe you have to eat a pound of crow's poison to become ill. So if we get one or two in the batch, it's not going to bother us any. But I would just rather not eat poison. So yeah. Yeah, garlic's bulbing and it does a surface root. It just needs to have oh wait. You have goats now. You're not going to ever have garlic again. They like to pre-season themselves. Plant a ton, like a lot. You should just do your whole yard in garlic. That keeps the vampires away. Doesn't work so good on werewolves, though. Just vampires. Dogs will eat your garlic too. And they're both good. I mean, the garlic, if you put too much in something when you're cooking or whatever, it can be a no, Ellie, that's exactly what I say, because I would never lie to you. You just, you don't want to put 20 bulbs of what you believe to be onions in the beans without tasting them, because then the beans taste just like boiled garlic. Just saying. Do your research on the wild onions and stuff, though. Honestly, The flowers on the wild onion are rather distinct in their shape and their petals and stuff. The flower on the crow's poison looks vaguely similar at a glance. You'd be like, oh, look, wild onion. But if you actually look at the flower, it's got flat leaves that are flat petals that fold out. It's like a 5-petal daisy almost or something, as opposed to the cupped flowers of the onion. The onion flowers are, the petals form a bowl at the bottom and then come up to a fine point. There's like 4, maybe 5 of them, 5 petals, but they come up to a point and the point curls out and the stamen and stuff stick up through the middle. Whereas the crow's poison, the blossom opens right at the end of the center stalk or whatever, or the flower cluster, and they open all the way up and the petals lay out almost flat. They're the same color. They're the same yellow, white and yellow, and the same polleny part, but they're not the same flower. And the biggest way, like if you think it's an onion or garlic, if you break it and smell it, it will smell either like onion or garlic. Maybe not really strongly, but you will be able to distinctly smell either onion or garlic from the leaves. If you break the crow's poison and smell it, it's going to smell like grass. It doesn't have the onion or the garlic flavor. So there you go.
CH and X.
You're welcome.
Yes, he survived though.
You survived though. You had that whole field of chives out there until we got goats and chickens. Chickens like chives too. Well, when you, I didn't know crypto could do that, but if you're a little sick or whatever, crypto could kill you. Not just make you sick for a few days and stuff, but it can yeah. Yeah, I've been looking at all the possible food sources or water sources on the property because we're, quite honestly, we could cheat. I mean, y'all would never have to know that we were getting water from the well. The well is within walking distance of where we're going to be camping. So, well, everything, I mean, it's not that far. I mean, a 30-minute walk, 30-minute walk. But we're doing this to test our gear as well as everything else. So, we're going to be putting a lot of stuff through the ringers down there. We can test a lot more stuff. We can test a lot more of our planning. We can test a lot more of our capabilities, the way we're doing this portrayal, than we could if we just made it a straight challenge. We can decide, and in so doing so, hopefully help others decide what is truly necessary, what isn't, what is worth extra effort and extra expenditure of capital, and what isn't. Because in a city, even if you had to go camping for a really, really long time. Okay, let's take pioneers. Okay. The last thing, I guarantee you, the last thing that woman let that man throw off that wagon, if the horses were getting tired, that piano was going to go first. Okay. That cook stove, that cast iron cook stove, it was staying in that wagon. She was not cooking on no pit outside the house. They were not going to take the cast iron pots and pans off the wagon and leave them on the side of the road. They were going to go. So we've got to try and figure out if this whole thing is more of this is a prepper thing. It's not a survival thing. It's not I mean, the three of us that are going to down there to South Texas, we could do, it would be rough on us, but there would be very little reason why we couldn't make the whole summer down there, other than the fact that we have jobs and lives and we can't do that. But the different foods that come in season, and with gathering and storing and stuff like that, if we carried some filler down there with us, there's no reason that we couldn't. I mean, it's like one of the most bountiful places on the planet. It's a river. There's going to be food almost all year long. The heat would be oppressive by the end of May. But there's ways around that. There's shade trees. You actually vent your hut, which you build, and you actually put water on the floor, and the hut itself becomes an evaporative cooler, and you can greatly lower the temperature inside your hut. And it's 95 degrees in the sun outside, but you can go hide in your hut and be 78. So do what, man? What I miss?
We're talking about necessities and such.
Oh yeah.
And I put my opinion up there.
It's one of the questions by both of the other two individuals involved is just exactly how much coffee are we going to have cached on property? The answer was just as much as you can put in your cache. So exactly. We're actually going to play around with some coffee substitutes while we're down there. We found coffee. I know coffee and substitute is a really dangerous thing, but we found a grain that can be roasted, ground up, brewed as coffee, and it actually has caffeine in it.
Are you taking the coffee grinder?
Actually, I was going to ask you about that.
It's a hand crank.
Yeah, it's a hand crank. I mean, why would you not have something like that? I was going to play around with it some and see if it would crack the wheat too. I know it's made for coffee, but if it would at least crack the wheat, it would be a handy little tool to have. Picked up, I mean, at a yard sale, we picked up a hand crank coffee grinder, and it's actually a functional piece of equipment. It's super cool. It's not something you can stuff in your backpack, but take that thumb screw out of that handle, and that thing will fit in the bottom of that tube. So actually, Caffeine is a naturally occurring substance in several plants. It just happens to be very strong in the plant that they make Lipton tea out of, and coffee beans. It's actually in cocoa beans. That's why there's caffeine in chocolate. That's why people really like chocolates, because it's flipping caffeine and sugar in it. That's why dark chocolate is so bitter, is because of the caffeine content is relatively high in it. Well, I asked the guy how much he wanted for it, and he was like $10, and I said, okay, I'll take it. I didn't, when I turned the handle and everything turned, what stayed put, or what was supposed to stay put, and what was supposed to turn, turned. Everything moved or whatever, I bought it. I don't feel the least bit bad about getting it for $10 either. Hello, Sloshy. Killdeer, I think I missed you coming in too. There's that, but when the zombie horde has come through and you slayed them all and they all bled out their green pussy blood all over your coffee, but they didn't get the chicory, I'm drinking the chicory. And I actually like mint and pine needle tea. It's actually refreshing. I actually like lamb's quarter tea. It's actually quite refreshing. It's lemony.
Yes, you did, but I wasn't going to interrupt.
Oh.
I'm still drinking green fast cover coffee.
I thought I had a coffee problem. Hey, Just Aid. The beauty of the thing is in my little poll or whatever, which the results are in. Y'all can't change it now just to ruin my day. It's just anarchy. There's no zombies. We do not have to do zombies while we're in South Texas. We do not have to fight zombies, because I really don't want to have to string up all them cans and stuff. It was going to look silly. Ooh. Just Aid, I got to show you something. Hold on. I'll be right back. Ow. Dun, 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 dun. This thing just amazes me. Mining world. If I need, I'm gonna shoot this thing. You just freaking want. Oh. You ready, Just Aid? Hold on, I gotta find my controller majigger. Let the camera come back. That you could fix a roof leak with that coffee.
Pretty sure it melted the spoon.
Pretty well, if you could get the spoon to move in it. I don't think it melted. I think it just broke it off at the handle. Ready, Fitz? Go ahead like this. No. Look at that size of it. I can't even get the whole thing on the screen. It can just barely fling way back. That's like, I don't even know how long that is. It's like 28 inches of blade or something. I didn't even know they made them this big, dude. I think I'm gonna take this one. Flipping huge.
That's a sword.
This ain't some use though. I don't know if y'all can see, but it's got like things where they were smacking stuff with it. And I don't know why there's red spray paint on the handles. I bought 3 machetes for $12. They were, the whole bundle of them was $12. So, and the one that was laying on top is the reason I bought it, because it's a brand new machete that somebody had spray painted the handle. And when I cut it apart, and I realized that was actually one machete. I was like, wow, that's a lot of machete. But I gotta clean it up. I'm gonna get that. Actually, I think I'm gonna leave the red on the handle. It's not gonna hurt me, but I think I'm gonna paint the blade orange.
Looks like a sugar cane knife.
I got a cane knife. Me and Just Ate are machete freaks. So. This one's old. It was left unattended in a pasture, and I've rescued it.
The handle is most likely red because of The Walking Dead.
The red machete. Yeah. Ow. Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna get that reference, did you? Yeah. This is my idea of a machete. Actually, I used this. I called this my watermelon knife. And then this one. The machete that I have I do everything with, it's actually just a little bit bigger than this one. It's the same style. It's the same as that bowler right there. But no, that's not the bowler. That's the Spanish, whatever. Anyway, it's only got an 18-inch blade. It's I always thought it was a pretty decent sized machete until I saw that when I put it beside it. I'm like, wow, it's a little bitty, but it's a workhorse. I mean, I can do all kinds of stuff with it. And I actually have a kukri. If I can, and I intend on taking the kukri with me to South Texas if I can find out where I laid down my sheep. I had the kukri, using it to do some butchering, because I use my knives. I don't have a single safe queen in my possession. I knocked this one down. This knife was given to me by Matt A. And I confess, I peeled an apple with it the other day. I don't not. If you send me something, trust me, it's going to see time. When somebody gets you something because it's the kind of stuff you like to use or whatever, why would you not use it? And I can see the other side. You want to keep it forever. And me and Rob are opposites on that. We keep it forever. And then there's this one. Make sure I do this right. Whoa! I love this thing. Oh wait, this one is yours. This came from Matt too. I shudder to think how many knives are within arm's reach of me right now. I actually have one tomahawk. Well, 2, 3, 4. Never mind. I got some tomahawk. I've got a couple of hand axes. I've got one camping axe and one double bit axe. I actually bought a single bit axe at a garage sale in is that Alabama? You need to put a handle in it. All right, Ellis, have a good night. Thanks for being in here so long. Anyway, I believe that Robert may intend on bringing an axe. So, and in theory, if you're going to cache what you needed, or catch, whatever, what you needed on a location, it wouldn't be, if I was putting it in a backpack to carry it with, if it was what I had to carry, if I had to carry it for the weight and the utility, I'm already carrying the tomahawk, so I don't need the hammer. And light duty notching, chopping, stuff like that. But if you got to clear brush or take down small trees for shelter or whatever like that, the machete's great, and it weighs less than an axe. Or mine does. That one may weigh the same as an axe, I don't know. But the one I would be carrying weighs the same as an axe. The one I would be carrying is actually slightly smaller than this one. That one's going to be hard to clean up. It's got some pretty serious rust on it. Oh, that's cool. C103. I was actually looking. They have one at Tractor Supply, I think. That's it looks like a tactical side, man. It's a little one. It's got like a, I don't know, 16-inch handle, 16, 18-inch handle on it, and it's got like a 10-inch curved blade or whatever. Good night, Lady B. Thank you. You're very welcome to come back anytime, lady. Y'all be blessed. All your people dancing out on me. I'm about run. I'm about running out of things to say anyway. I'm super duper 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 excited to get down there. We've got a few things I still got to handle here before I can leave, but I don't think there's going to be a problem. The vehicle relocators have come through the area, and I'm having a really hard time. I need a spare tire for my truck. I know I'd been seeing them going down the highway chained together and stuff. I didn't realize that was the new item to be purchasing. And then, you know, may just have to put a for sale sign on mine. Is that on the highway? No, that's a train. Never mind. Why is it so loud? Oh. Oops, I forgot. I'm going to smoke it in front of you. I have a major headache right now. Oh, I don't know. I've been on here that long. You're welcome, Sloshy. I do these. This is an unscheduled one. I usually go live Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Next week will be the last time y'all see me for a week. Okay. The after show, Dior said he would cover it for me Saturday the 6th. So y'all look for Dior's channel to go live after BA. Okay. Tuesday, I will try and find a spot to do a live thing. There's a couple of spots out there where there's internet enough for my phone. I won't be able to go live for long. And it had to be early because I have to depend on the sunlight. I can't, you know, we only got so much light out there, so much battery. And, you know, we'll see. I don't want to promise that though. I'll see what I can do. I just, you know, I guess click the bell and I'll try to upload a heads up that I'm going to do it so everybody will know to be watching for it. Okay. But, oh yeah, they took the bitty zapper off Bitty Boo. She doesn't have to walk around with the cattle prod anymore.
And Dempsey said you need a rim or a tire or both.
Both.
Yes, C103.
Yes, Dior's. He went live the other day when I was gone too, and man, I got the notification that he was live. I was like, oh, I got signal here. Cool. And so I climbed up on the back of the truck and got it open and hit. And right as I'm typing in, hey, everybody, he says, well, that's it. I'm 6 people in here. I'm going to go ahead and get off. I hit send and he closed the screen. I was like, you got to be kidding me. If you get between, because cell phones line of sight, right? When you find a place where you're high enough and there's no hill or valley or cliff or whatever between you and the tower, you can get some service. So, in all the walking around down there, I've discovered 3. One of them is actually pretty decent service. So we'll see what. Oh, cool. Yeah, and that's no spoilers, but me and him are talking. Viewer. So, anyhow, I'm gonna get off here. But yeah, if anybody happens to, I mean, I found a couple that I can buy that are refurbished or whatever. I'd have to order them online. But I'm a tightwad. I'm used to paying $20 for a rim at the Grecken yard. And now all of a sudden, all the wrecking yards, all we keep is domestic stuff. Dude, Nissan's made in Fort Worth. Shut up. So it's annoying. I digress. Nissan's been made in the United States since 80, 90, something. You're welcome. Anyway, Nissan's been made in the United States for a really long time. So, God bless y'all. Y'all stay alive. Do not die. 2 big commandments. Love God. Love each other.